I saw it on TikTok. My daughter's engagement. She was standing there in a white sundress, her hand extended toward the camera, showing off a diamond that probably cost more than I made in a year of teaching. The caption read, "She said yes, number engaged, number future wife, number new beginnings." The video had over 50,000 views. 50,000 strangers knew about my daughter's engagement before I did. The next morning, I called my lawyer and took back the $250,000 I'd given her. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning, because you need to understand how we got here. You need to understand what I sacrificed, what I gave up, and what she threw away like it meant nothing. My name is Margaret. I'm 62 years old now, though I feel ancient most days. I was a high school English teacher for 35 years. Not the kind of job that makes you rich, but it was honest work. Work that mattered, or at least, I thought it did. I became a single mother when my daughter Jessica was 8 years old. My husband David died in a car accident. A drunk driver ran a red light one Tuesday evening, and just like that, he was gone. Jessica and I were left alone in a 3-bedroom house in suburban Connecticut, with a mortgage I could barely afford, and a future that terrified me. I remember the night after the funeral. Jessica crawled into bed with me, her small body shaking with sobs. "Mommy," she whispered, "is Daddy ever coming back?" And I held her tight and lied. I told her everything would be okay. I told her we'd be fine. I told her I'd take care of her forever. And I kept that promise. God help me, I kept it. I worked 2 jobs for the next 10 years. Teaching during the day, waitressing at night. Some evenings, I'd come home at 11 p.m., and Jessica would be asleep on the couch, her homework scattered around her. I'd carry her to bed, finish grading papers until 2 in the morning, then wake up at 6 to do it all over again. I remember one Christmas when Jessica was 12. All her friends were getting new phones, designer clothes, expensive gifts. She didn't ask for anything that year. She just hugged me and said, "Mom, we're okay. We have each other." I cried myself to sleep that night because I knew she was trying to make me feel better. My 12-year-old daughter was being the parent. But I made sure she never went without. She had nice clothes for school, even if I bought mine from thrift stores. She went to summer camps while I worked overtime. She got into a good college, and I made sure she graduated without a single dollar of debt. I took out loans. I refinanced the house twice. I didn't take a vacation for 15 years. When she graduated, Jessica threw her arms around me in front of everyone and said, "Mom, I did it. We did it." And I thought, yes, this was worth it. All those sleepless nights, all those double shifts, all those sacrifices, this moment right here made it all worth it. Jessica got a job in marketing in New York City. She was smart, ambitious, beautiful. She'd inherited her father's green eyes and his determination. She climbed the corporate ladder quickly. Within 5 years, she was making 6 figures. She bought a nice apartment in Manhattan, drove a decent car, wore expensive clothes. And I was so proud. So incredibly proud. She'd call me every Sunday evening. We'd talk for an hour about her week, her projects, her life. She'd complain about her boss, laugh about her friends, tell me about the city. And I'd sit in my small kitchen in Connecticut, sipping tea, listening to my daughter's voice, feeling like maybe I'd done something right. Then, 3 years ago, Jessica called me on a Tuesday instead of Sunday. "Mom," she said, and I could hear the excitement in her voice. "I found it, my dream house." It was a townhouse in Brooklyn. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a small backyard, and a kitchen, she said, looked like something from a magazine. The only problem was the price, $400,000. She had savings, but she needed more for the down payment. "Mom, I know this is a huge ask," she said, her voice dropping to something more hesitant. "But could you help me? I'll pay you back. I promise. It's just, this house is perfect. And I've been thinking, you could have your own room here. You wouldn't have to stay in Connecticut anymore. We could be close again." I looked around my small house. The house David and I had bought when we were newlyweds. The house where Jessica had taken her first steps, where we'd celebrated birthdays and Christmases and ordinary Tuesday evenings. It was full of memories, but it was also full of emptiness. "How much do you need?" I asked. 250,000, she said quietly. That was almost exactly what my house was worth. I didn't even hesitate. "I'll do it," I said. "Mom, are you sure?" "Jessica, you're my daughter. You're my whole world. If this makes you happy, then I want to help." We both cried on the phone that night. She promised me that I'd always have a place in her new home, that we'd have Sunday dinners together, that she'd take care of me the way I'd taken care of her. I sold my house 2 months later. The house where I'd raised my daughter alone, where I'd cried into my pillow after David died, where I'd celebrated Jessica's high school graduation. I packed up 30 years of memories into boxes and moved into a small one-bedroom apartment in a cheaper part of town. But it was okay. It was worth it. Because my daughter had her dream house. I transferred the money to her account with a simple note. "For your future. Love, Mom." She called me immediately. "Mom, I got it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you." "I love you too, sweetheart. I'll have your room ready by next month. You can come visit any time. This is our house now. Our house." I held on to those words like a lifeline. The first few months were good. Jessica sent me pictures of the renovation, the walls she was painting, the furniture she was buying. I sent her my old dining room table, the one David had built by hand. She said she loved it. I visited once. It was beautiful. She decorated the guest room with soft blue walls and white curtains. "This is your room, Mom," she said, "whenever you want to stay." We ordered takeout that night and watched movies like we did when she was little. I went to bed happy, thinking about all the times I'd come back, all the Sunday dinners we'd have, all the memories we'd make. Then things started to change. It was gradual at first. The Sunday phone calls got shorter. She was busy with work, she said. Then she started missing calls. She'd text instead. "Sorry, Mom, crazy week. Talk soon." I told myself it was normal. She was young, busy, building her career, but something felt different. Something felt wrong. Then, about 6 months ago, she mentioned someone named Brandon. "I met someone, Mom," she said during one of our increasingly rare phone calls. "That's wonderful, sweetheart. Tell me about him." "His name is Brandon. He works in finance. He's really great, Mom. I think you'd like him." "I'd love to meet him." There was a pause. "Yeah, soon. We're just taking things slow." But they weren't taking things slow. Over the next few months, I'd see glimpses of him on her social media, photos of them at expensive restaurants, vacation pictures from places I'd never been. She looked happy, radiant even, but she never invited me to meet him. I tried not to be hurt. I tried to tell myself she was just caught up in the excitement of new love, but the phone calls became even less frequent. Sometimes I wouldn't hear from her for 2 weeks. When I'd call, she'd sound distracted, like she was always somewhere else. "Jessica, is everything okay?" I asked once. "Yeah, Mom, everything's fine." "Why?" "I just feel like we don't talk as much anymore." "I'm just busy. You understand, right?" I said I understood, but I didn't. Not really. Then came her birthday. Her 34th birthday. I'd been planning it for weeks. I baked her favorite cake, the same chocolate fudge cake I'd made for her every birthday since she was 3. I bought her a cashmere scarf I'd seen her looking at online. I couldn't really afford it, but I wanted her to have it. I drove to Brooklyn, my old car struggling with the highway traffic. When I got to her house, the house I'd helped her buy, I rang the doorbell, balancing the cake in one hand and the gift in the other. She answered after a long wait. She looked stunning in a navy dress, her hair done, makeup perfect. But when she saw me, her face fell. "Mom? What are you doing here?" "It's your birthday, sweetheart. I brought you cake." Mom, this isn't a good time." I looked past her into the house. I could see people inside. Laughter, music, a party. You're having a party, I said, my voice small. It's just a small thing. Brandon's friends, some people from work. I'm your mother, Jessica. I know, Mom, but... She glanced back inside, then stepped out onto the porch, closing the door behind her. Brandon's parents are here. They have certain expectations. Expectations? They're from old money, Mom. They're sophisticated. They wouldn't understand. The words hit me like a physical blow. Wouldn't understand what? Wouldn't understand a mother who'd worked 2 jobs to raise her daughter, who'd sold her house so her daughter could have this one, who'd sacrificed everything. You're ashamed of me, I said, and it wasn't a question. No, Mom, that's not. You are. You're ashamed of me. Mom, please, can we talk about this later? I really need to get back inside. I looked down at the cake in my hands. The cake I'd spent 3 hours making. The same cake I'd made for her every year of her life. Here, I said, holding it out to her. Happy birthday, Jessica. She took the cake awkwardly, clearly just wanting me to leave. Thanks, Mom. I'll call you tomorrow, okay? But she didn't call me tomorrow, or the next day, or the next week. I tried to tell myself I'd overreacted, that I'd misunderstood, but I couldn't stop seeing the look on her face when she'd opened the door. The way she'd called me Mom like it was an apology, like my existence was something she needed to explain away. 2 weeks later, I was scrolling through TikTok. I'd only downloaded it because Jessica had told me it was fun. I barely used it, but that night, I couldn't sleep. I was just mindlessly watching videos when suddenly, there she was, my daughter. The video was only 15 seconds long. Jessica was laughing, covering her face with her hands. Then the camera panned to show a man on one knee. Brandon, I assumed. He was handsome in that polished prep school way. Perfectly styled hair, expensive suit, white teeth. The video ended with Jessica holding up her hand, showing off a massive diamond ring. The caption read, she said, yes, number, engaged number, future wife, number, new beginnings. I watched it 3 times. Then I checked the timestamp. It had been posted 4 days ago. 4 days, and she hadn't called me, hadn't texted, hadn't said a word. I scrolled through the comments. Hundreds of congratulations from strangers, friends celebrating, his family welcoming her. Everyone knew. Everyone except me. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I called her. It rang 4 times before she answered. Hey, Mom. She sounded cheerful, casual, like nothing had happened. You're engaged. Silence. Then, how did you? I saw it on TikTok, Jessica. You got engaged, and I had to find out on TikTok. Mom, I was going to tell you. We just decided to wait until what? Until after you told 50,000 strangers? It's not like that. Then what is it like? Explain it to me, Jessica. Make me understand why your own mother wasn't worth a phone call. Mom, please don't be upset. I wanted to tell you in person. When? When were you going to tell me? Soon. We're planning to come visit soon. Are you getting married here, in New York? Another pause. We're still figuring out the details. Am I invited, Jessica? Of course you're invited. Mom, why are you being like this? Because you shut the door in my face on your birthday. Because you haven't called me in 3 weeks. Because I had to find out about my daughter's engagement from social media. I said I was sorry about the birthday thing. Brandon's parents were there and I'm not good enough to meet them. That's not what I said. You didn't have to say it, Jessica. You made it perfectly clear. She was crying now. Mom, please, don't do this. Can we talk about this later? Brandon and I are planning the wedding, and it's really stressful, and I just need you to be supportive right now. Supportive, I repeated. Like I've been your whole life? Yes. Like you've always been. I sold my house for you, Jessica. I know, Mom. And I'm grateful. Are you? Because it doesn't feel like you're grateful. It feels like you're embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed. Then invite me to dinner. Let me meet Brandon and his parents. Silence. Jessica? I'll talk to Brandon about it. You'll talk to Brandon about whether your own mother can meet your future in-laws. Mom, it's complicated. No, sweetheart. It's actually very simple. Either I'm your mother and I'm part of your life, or I'm not. Of course, you're part of my life. Then prove it. She promised she would. She promised we'd have dinner soon. She promised everything would be okay. But 2 weeks went by, then 3. My calls went to voicemail more often than not. Her texts were brief and impersonal. Busy with wedding stuff. Talk soon. I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. I'd lie awake at night in my small apartment, staring at the ceiling, wondering where I'd gone wrong, wondering when I'd stopped being enough. Then, one Tuesday morning, I decided to visit her. I should have called first, I know, but I'd tried calling, and she never answered. I needed to see my daughter. I needed to understand what was happening. I drove to Brooklyn, my heart racing the entire way. When I pulled up to the house, I saw there were cars in the driveway. Expensive cars. A Mercedes, a BMW, her car, and presumably Brandon's. I rang the doorbell, waited. I could hear voices inside. Laughter. Jessica opened the door. She was wearing an elegant cream-colored blouse and tailored pants. Her hair was pulled back in a sophisticated bun. She looked beautiful. She looked like a stranger. Mom? Her eyes went wide. What are you doing here? I came to see you. I've been trying to call. I know, I'm sorry, things have just been crazy with wedding planning. She glanced over her shoulder nervously. Mom, now's really not a good time. I just want to talk to you for 5 minutes. Jessica. We can talk later. I promise. It's just that Brandon's parents are here, and we're in the middle of discussing venue options, and I'm your mother, Jessica. I should be part of wedding planning. You will be. We'll include you in everything. Just not today. Why not today? Because, she lowered her voice, stepping out onto the porch and partially closing the door behind her. Because they're very traditional, Mom. They have expectations about how things should be done, and I need to make a good impression. I'm your mother, I repeated, my voice breaking. You shouldn't have to hide me to make a good impression. I'm not hiding you. Then let me come inside. Let me meet them. She looked back at the closed door, then at me. And in that moment, I saw it. The calculation in her eyes, the weighing of options, the decision. Not today, Mom. Please. Why? Because they wouldn't understand. Understand what? Your situation. My situation. She meant my tiny apartment, my old car, my clearance rack clothes, my lack of sophistication, my working class background. Me. My situation, I said quietly, is that I gave you everything. I worked 2 jobs. I sold my house. I gave you $250,000 so you could buy this house. This house I'm not allowed to enter. That's not fair, isn't it? I didn't ask you to do any of that. The words hit me like a slap. What? I didn't ask you to sell your house, Mom. That was your choice. You needed the money for the down payment. I would have figured something out. You made that decision on your own. I stared at my daughter, the little girl I'd rocked to sleep, the teenager I'd stayed up waiting for, the young woman I'd been so proud of, and I didn't recognize her anymore. You're right, I said quietly. I did make that decision on my own, and now I'm going to make another one. What do you mean? That money I gave you? It was a gift, but I kept the documentation. I have the bank transfer records, the emails where you promised to pay me back if I ever needed it. I have everything. Her face went pale. Mom, you're not serious. I am. I'm going to need that money back, Jessica. You can't do that. Actually, I can. You signed a promissory note. Do you remember that? We did it at the lawyer's office to keep everything legal. You promised to repay the loan if I requested it. But you said it was a gift. It was a gift to my daughter. A daughter who loved me, who wanted me in her life. but you've made it very clear that I don't fit into your new life. So I don't see why my money should fit into it either. Mom, please. We're about to get married. We're planning a wedding. We can't afford to pay you back right now. You should have thought of that before you shut me out. I didn't shut you out. Jessica, you found out you were engaged 4 days before you posted it on TikTok for the world to see. You've been planning a wedding without me. You won't let me meet your future in-laws. You told me I wouldn't understand your lifestyle. You said I was an embarrassment. I never said that. You didn't have to. Tears were streaming down her face now. Mom, please. Don't do this. We can fix this. We can talk about this. No, Jessica. We can't. Because you don't want to talk about it. You want me to go away and make things convenient for you. You want me to disappear so you can pretend you came from money, so you can fit in with Brandon's family. That's not true. Isn't it? She didn't answer. I'll have my lawyer contact you, I said. You have 90 days to repay the full amount. We don't have that kind of money. Then I guess you'll have to figure something out. Like you said you would have done in the first place. I turned to walk back to my car. Mom, wait. I stopped, but didn't turn around. Please don't do this. I love you. You're my mother. I was your mother, I said quietly. Now I'm just the person who gave you money you can't pay back. I got in my car and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I could see her standing on the porch, crying. And I felt nothing except a strange, hollow relief. The next week, my lawyer sent the formal demand letter. Jessica called me 17 times that day. I didn't answer. She left voicemails, each one more desperate than the last. Mom, please. We can work this out. Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. Mom, please call me back. Brandon's parents are furious. They're saying I deceived them about my financial situation. Mom, Brandon is saying we need to postpone the wedding. Please, please don't do this. I deleted each voicemail without listening all the way through. 2 weeks later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I answered. Margaret? It was a woman's voice. Cultured, cold. This is she. This is Diane Hartford, Brandon's mother. I see. I'm calling to discuss this situation, this demand for money. What about it? Surely we can come to some arrangement. Jessica tells me the money was a gift. Jessica signed a promissory note. A technicality that I'm sure we can overlook. My son is about to marry your daughter. We're going to be family. Surely family doesn't sue family. Funny, I said. Family also doesn't exclude family from wedding planning. Family doesn't hide their mother because she's not sophisticated enough. Silence. Then icily, I don't know what Jessica has told you, but she didn't have to tell me anything, Mrs. Hartford. I experienced it firsthand. Your son's family made it very clear that I wasn't welcome. We simply felt that too many voices in the planning process would be. You felt that I was beneath you. I never said that. You didn't have to. Look, Margaret, I'm trying to find a solution here. What will it take for you to drop this demand? $250,000. That's what it will take. That's impossible. They're planning a wedding. Then perhaps they should have a smaller wedding. Or no wedding at all. Not my problem. You would really do this to your own daughter? On the eve of her wedding? My daughter did this to herself. She chose you over me. She chose money and status over family. Now she gets to live with that choice. You're being vindictiva. No, Mrs. Hartford. I'm being practical. I gave my daughter that money because I loved her, because she promised me I'd always have a place in her life. She broke that promise. So now I'm taking back what's mine. If you do this, they won't be able to afford the wedding they planned. Brandon will. Brandon will what? Call off the engagement? Then Jessica will find out what his love is really worth, won't she? Mrs. Hartford was silent for a long moment. You really are a spiteful woman. I'm a mother who gave everything for her child and got nothing in return. Call it whatever you want. She hung up. 3 days later, Jessica showed up at my apartment. She looked terrible. Her eyes were red and swollen. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She wasn't wearing makeup. She knocked on my door, and when I opened it, she immediately started crying. "Mom, please. Please, I'm begging you. I'll do anything. I'll pay you back. Just give us time." "How much time, Jessica?" "I don't know. A year? 2 years? You don't have that kind of money, and you know it. We'll get it. Brandon's getting a promotion, and I'm up for a raise, and we can. You'll spend it on your expensive lifestyle, on dinners and vacations and designer clothes. You won't pay me back." "I will. I promise. Like you promised I'd always have a room in your house? Like you promised we'd have Sunday dinners together? Those kinds of promises?" She sobbed harder. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was stupid. I was caught up in everything with Brandon and his family, and I got lost." "You got ashamed. There's a difference. I was never ashamed of you." "Then why wasn't I invited to your birthday party? Why haven't I met Brandon's parents? Why did you hide me?" "Because I was scared." "Of what?" "That they wouldn't think I was good enough, that they'd see where I came from and judge me." "So, you judged me first." "I didn't mean to. Brandon's family has so much. They vacation in the Hamptons. They have a house in Nantucket. They went to Yale and Harvard. And I'm just some girl from Connecticut whose mom was a teacher." "Just," I repeated. "You say that like it's something to be ashamed of." "It's not. I know it's not. But when you're around them, it feels like it is. Like nothing I've accomplished matters because I didn't start where they started." "So you tried to erase me. Erase your past." "I didn't." "You did, Jessica. You absolutely did. And the sad part is, I would have understood. I would have supported you. I would have done anything to help you fit into Brandon's world. But you never gave me that chance. You just shut me out." I know, and I'm sorry. I'll do better. I'll include you in everything from now on. You can help plan the rest of the wedding. You can meet Brandon's parents. We'll have dinner together. No. Mom, please." "No, Jessica. You had your chance. Multiple chances. And you chose them over me every single time. I'll leave Brandon." I stared at her. "What?" "If that's what it takes. If that's what you want, I'll call off the engagement." "You'd do that?" "Yes, I would. Because you're my mother and I love you and I've been an idiot and I just need you to forgive me." For a moment, I almost believed her. For a moment, I almost gave in. Because she was my daughter, my baby girl, and I'd spent 34 years loving her more than anything in the world. But then I saw her phone light up with a notification. She glanced at it instinctively, and I saw the lock screen, a photo of her and Brandon on some beach somewhere, both of them tan and laughing and perfectly happy. "You won't leave him," I said quietly. "I will if that's what it takes." "No, you won't, and I don't want you to." "Then what do you want?" "I want my money back. I want you to understand that actions have consequences. I want you to realize that you can't just use people and throw them away when they're no longer convenient." "I didn't use you." "You did. You used my love, my sacrifice, my money, and when it came time to actually include me in your life, you decided I wasn't worth the trouble." "That's not what happened." "That's exactly what happened. And now you're here because you need something from me. Not because you love me, not because you miss me, because you need me to make this problem go away so you can go back to your perfect life with Brandon and his perfect family." "That's not true, isn't it? If I gave you back the money right now, would you still want me at your wedding? Would you still introduce me to the Hartfords? Or would you go back to hiding me?" She opened her mouth to answer, then closed it. "That's what I thought," I said. "Mom, you have 90 days, Jessica. That's what the promissory note says. Figure it out." I closed the door. She stood outside crying for 20 minutes. I sat on the other side of the door, listening, feeling nothing. Finally, she left. The next month was brutal. Jessica tried everything. She offered to pay me back in installments. She had Brandon's parents call my lawyer to negotiate. She sent me long emails explaining how much she loved me, how sorry she was, how this would destroy her life. I didn't respond to any of it. Because the truth was, this had already destroyed my life. The daughter I'd raised, the little girl I'd sacrificed everything for, she was already gone. This version of Jessica, the one who cared more about impressing rich people than loving her mother, she wasn't someone I recognized. On day 87, 3 days before the payment was due, Jessica called. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Mom?" Her voice was small, broken. "Hello, Jessica. The wedding's off." I didn't say anything. Brandon broke up with me. His parents convinced him that I'd lied about my financial situation, that I came from, that my family wasn't what they thought. He said he couldn't marry someone who wasn't honest. "I see. We're selling the house. We'll have the money for you next week." "Okay." "Mom, I've lost everything. My fiancé, my house, my future. Are you happy now?" "No," I said honestly. "I'm not happy. I'm just done." "Done?" "Done trying to be enough for you. Done sacrificing myself for someone who doesn't appreciate it. Done being your mother when you only want me to be your ATM. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, Jessica. I learned that when your father died, when I had to work 2 jobs to keep a roof over our heads, when I had to choose between buying you new shoes and buying myself dinner. You're just learning it now." She was crying. "I love you, Mom. I know you do. In your own way. But it's not enough anymore." "What does that mean?" "It means I'm done, Jessica. I'm done being the mother who gives and gets nothing back. I'm done being an embarrassment you have to hide. I'm done." "So that's it? You're giving up on me?" "No, sweetheart. I'm giving up on us. On this relationship where I matter less than your image. On this dynamic where I sacrifice and you take. I'm choosing myself for once." "I don't understand." "I know you don't. And that's the saddest part. Mom, please, don't do this. I need you. You needed my money. There's a difference." I hung up. The money was wired to my account 5 days later. All $250,000. I didn't call to confirm. I didn't thank her. I just saw the notification on my phone and felt nothing. No satisfaction. No victory. Just a quiet, empty relief. A week later, I did something I hadn't done in 34 years. I booked a vacation. A real vacation. 2 weeks in Italy. Rome. Florence. Venice. Places I'd always dreamed of seeing but never could afford because I was too busy saving for Jessica's future. I went alone. I ate pasta in trattorias. I drank wine in piazzas. I stood in the Sistine Chapel and cried because it was so beautiful and I'd waited so long to see it. And for the first time in decades, I felt free. Jessica sent messages occasionally, tentative at first, then more desperate. "Mom, I'm sorry. Mom, I miss you. Mom, please talk to me." I didn't respond. Not because I wanted to punish her, but because I didn't know what to say. Because the mother she wanted me to be, the mother who would forgive anything and sacrifice everything, she was gone. And I didn't know how to be anything else to her. One evening, sitting at a cafe in Florence, watching the sun set over the Arno River, I got a notification, a text from Jessica. Brandon and I got back together. He realized he made a mistake. His parents were wrong about me. We're starting over. Smaller place, simpler wedding. I know you probably don't care anymore, but I wanted you to know. I hope you're okay. I hope you're happy. I love you. I read it twice. Then I set my phone down and ordered another glass of wine. I wasn't happy. Not yet. But I wasn't sad anymore either. I was just here. In Florence. Watching the sunset. Living my life instead of giving it away. And that was enough. For the first time in 34 years, I was enough.